What's up, everybody? This is a very special episode of Enlightened Masculinity. I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga and captain of IMC Nation, guardian here at Base One, Stoic Temple in Campbell, California. Live with Arash Dibazar and Fernando Caro and Sultan. And I have Fernando here. And, you know, as you're listening to this show, we have like over 250 episodes on the show. So leave a review, go back and you can see the timeline, the evolution. You can go back and see previous episodes with Fernando and see the change in both him and I. And that's kind of what we're talking about. You know, on the Instagram post that I made today was a picture of him and I from, I think, 2019. So a little over 3 years ago, or maybe around 3 years ago. And it's just so fascinating to see not just like the change in wardrobe and the change in hair and the change in even physique, but just the change in the demeanor. Oh, my live video on Facebook got blocked. Oh, that's because of the song. Yeah, whatever. So I have Fernando here, and we've been living together with AZD for over 2 years now, or around 2 years. Actually, what's today's date? It's about exactly 2 years now. Yeah, in a few days, it'll be exactly 2 years. So who better to give, transmit the experience of what that's like and how it's changed him, how it's changed me. You know, we could talk about this. It's kind of better, I think, in the dialogue because, you know, I could just sit here and talk about my change all day, and that's what I do. And so y'all are here showing up live, and the people watching the recording or listening to the recording, you'll hear it in him. And, you know, just to give a little background, you know, Arash is the red pillar of all red pillars. Like if big guy blowing up right now is this guy, Andrew Tate, Cobra Tate or whatever. And if you think that shit is bomb, I mean, that's just like, that's the most publicly acceptable red pill stuff. Like that guy is still basic compared to Arash. And that's part of what limits like the massive blow up and expansions. There's just tons of censorship on this stuff. And so if you're catching this recording, you know, you could feel somewhat honored in whatever way you're getting the, 2 degrees or 1 degree of separation, like us talking to you about the experience living with Arash. You can go to imcbase1.com, all spelled out, to see like details of how to train with Arash. And then, of course, you know, Fernando on Instagram, myself on Instagram, and get closer to the information and the technology. And that's what we have here. So I'll hand it over to Fernando. You know, he's well-spoken. He knows how to, stream and podcast and whatever. So a man that needs little introduction, a guy that jumped into this, these systems of thinking and these trainings right away. As soon as he saw it, he saw the truth and he jumped into it and, just was fully committed and has been fully committed ever since. So he's one of those guys that's like a brother that's right alongside me that, we're going through all of the journeys and the adventures and the obstacles more or less together. And so I'm very interested in what he has to say. And of course, all the way up through the current training with animal magnetism, which if you go to imcbase1.com, you'll see that's the current training. And we'll probably be talking about that and how that's changed us. So without further ado, my housemate and friend, Fernando Caro. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for the introduction. And, it's always great to stream with you and just share dialogue and interact and talk about this process, the AZD process, and where we're at today with this, because you did post that picture of us 2 years ago when we were not living in San Jose, but traveling every month. For me, it was about maybe I think it was like my second time here in San Jose, second or third time in San Jose when we took that picture, and just seeing how far we've gone in our own personal development, in our transformation, and most importantly, our expression and our demeanor. Because you see the avatar change, you see the exterior changes, which are very visible. However, it's all the inner work that we've accumulated over time, over the years now. And it's been a day in operation every single fucking day, every single month, fully dedicated to this path that AZD has paved the way for us to follow. And each guy here watching this stream, or if you're watching this stream in the future, you have that same opportunity to jump in this path that's already unfolding for all of us and use us as testimonials for this art, for this creation. We wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't believe in the AZD process, if we didn't believe in what AZD has taught us in this evolution. And for me, I mean, and I'm sure for Yogi, Chris, and everybody here, the most important thing in my life was evolving And what do I mean by just evolving? You could evolve eating 100 donuts, you'll evolve, right? In a negative way. What was my evolution? What did I want for Fernando Caro in this life? I saw a man who was demonstrating not just the things that he has accomplished in life. And if we go accomplishment after accomplishment after accomplishment, then you start to recognize, wow, there really isn't a comparison in what you're learning here, right? You go on Instagram, you go on social media, and you see these guys who are talking about these red pill concepts when it comes to dating, when it comes to women, when it comes to business and life in itself. You know, AZD is just on a different scale, a different breed of caliber when it comes to the way he expresses and the way he teaches. And so for me, it was obvious to see that he wasn't full of shit. He wasn't full of fluff. And most importantly, seeing the guys around him, his entourage at the time when I was a new guy here, right? I was not timid, but I was very reserved in my expression because I wanted to get a feel for the environment here. And maybe you two are experiencing that. You see us, we're posting, we're vocal, we stand strong in our philosophy and what we teach. And maybe you're watching this, you're like, well, I like what they talk about, but maybe this is not for me. Hey, maybe it is for you. But you have to want that shit for yourself, just like I wanted it, man. Yogi Chris mentioned on that picture, he's like, I was just a regular ass white guy. I was just a regular ass Mexican guy. But that's far from the truth because we were still these guys who had total discipline and dedication to be who we are now. And maybe at that time, our avatars weren't congruent with that internal drive that we had, that internal knowingness that says, hey, we're going to be somebodies in this life. We're going to be some real players in this game. We're going to be someone in this life who's going to create an influence. Why? Because there's a path, there's a process to follow here. You're somewhere in your process. You're somewhere in this chain of command, and it's up to you to decide how far you want to take it. I'll pass it back over to you, Chris.
Well, that's very interesting. I can hear in how you talk that you're close to your audience and, you know, and you have awareness of like where they're coming from. Maybe I only deal with certain guys that are coming to camps and, you know, you have experience with guys that are, you know, outside and maybe just getting started and, you know, all along the path. Like, what are the ways to level up here? Like, what are the stages or what are these like, these levels, like when you say like take it as far as they want to go, like how far can they take it in your awareness, like from where they're at to, you know, what does that even mean if you can spell it out?
Well, look, if I take myself back to when I started when I started studying IMC Nation technology, AZD technology, for me, it was the minute I invested that 25K, I invested 25,000 in my evolution because I saw a man who was demonstrating such power, such strength, and such conviction behind his words. Not only that, as I came here in San Jose for that training, I was able to see him in his real life experience handle some real life problems. And the way he was able to handle it, it didn't measure. Like in my references of guys in the world of men, there wasn't anybody who measured up as far as how they can handle life. And I guess at that time, I really was seeking a man that I could follow, a man that I could reflect, not just a man, a regular man, but a man of strength, a man who could look at the most darkest shit in life and not flinch and not be afraid anymore. And I guess there was a part of me that I wanted to overcome so fucking bad. There was a desperation. I was a man who was just seeking resolve in this life, seeking answers, and I was willing to go anywhere in order to get these answers. And so where does someone who's on this path start? Again, it starts with you saying, how much do you want this shit? And I know these words sound very motivating, but what do you got to do? Where do you start? Hey, there's camps every single month. It's animal magnetism. The first question you got to ask yourself, are you a part of the camp? How do I get in proximity of these power players? This is a free stream. You're already on here. That's already one step in the ladder. Why? Because I mean, this stream was posted to everybody. Where's everybody at? There's several people here, and maybe in the future someone will watch this. But where do you start? You start now. You start here. You start with all the free content that we're sharing every week. Everybody's streaming. There's an Enlightened Masculinity. There's the New Breed on Mondays. Then there's the higher levels of knowledge. Okay, then there's the Dragon's Lair that AZD teaches every day. Then there's the camps. And so for me, it was immersing myself, completely just jumping in, diving into the deep end of not knowing where I was necessarily going to go, but having total certainty that wherever I went, I'd be okay. And I guess a lot of the restrictions that people have is, well, is someone trying to take advantage of me? Is someone trying to jip me? Is this thing real? Am I really going to have what these guys promise? Hey, look, man, you got to get rid of the question and go seek out the exploration. Drop the question and go find out for yourself. Accumulate the experiences. And for me, it was simply saying, man, at the time I was 21. Yeah, 21 years old, 22 years old. I was like, bro, I got the entire world at my fingertips. I don't know how long I'm going to live, but while I'm here, let me go accumulate some experiences from people I want to experience life with. And that's where I started to look around in my life and say, hey, man, this is not enough. Fuck that shit. This is not the reality I want to live. So by virtue of that, I just sought out being a player in IMC Nation, not just a spectator, not sitting on the sidelines watching, seeing all these creations take place and me not be a part of it. It's always been about, hey, I need to be a part of this shit. Why? Because I think I'm worthy enough of being a part of this shit. And a lot of it, again, it's an inner frame of self saying there's no limiting belief as to what you can attain.
It was interesting how you say, no matter where it takes you, you're going to be okay. And I think it was yesterday we had Josiah and Zay and Miracle J on. And Zay was talking about how nice it was that Josiah had built this skill set working with IMC Nation, building flyers and designing graphics and whatever for everybody, like the thumbnails and event flyers and things like that. And he was like, Zay was like, I don't have to do that anymore. And he's way better at it. And it's nice to, like, when I need something like that, because Zay's also working like website design, web development for IMC guys. He's doing it for outsiders also, but he's like, it's so nice to like have my tribe, and like I get excited about making their websites versus other websites. I'm like just doing a job for somebody, but like I'm like really interested in helping out the IMC guys. And then when I need something for the website, then I can go to Josiah and he can make the graphic. And it's so nice to like work like within the tribe. Mm-hmm. And we're building up this ecosystem and this economy amongst ourselves. And we're making moves. Like if you've been following for however long you been following for, it's been improving every month. Maybe some months there's a dip or something, but if you look at it over 6 months or 12, it just keeps going up in influence. Like we just came out with the Burner music video. That's why I'm wearing brandishing my Cookies t-shirt. He's the owner of Cookies, billionaire cannabis industry, and Fernando's in the music video, and we have this music video with him this month. Next weekend we're doing a music video with San Quinn and AZD. And AZD had already put out all this music with these guys years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago or 4 years ago. Guys reaching out to him, wanting to collaborate because of who he is, how he teaches his communication, the connections he's made with people that admired his communication and relationships, his demeanor, his expressiveness. And so now just leveraging past efforts to get ahead now, because it's really exciting to be part of these music videos. It's like a time capsule for us. And, they're very high quality, and yeah, there's potential to blow up and like be famous and successful and all that stuff. It's definitely something that goes in our I don't know if I'd call it tool belt, but it like almost in our treasure chest. So we can pull out that diamond ring when we want to bling up, when we can pull out that gold chain, we could pull out that music video with Burner. And it's like, hey, this is that thing that I did. And it demonstrates value to anybody. Mm-hmm. And, that's from just getting closer and closer. So, what are some things that you've changed? Like, what are some recent changes that you've gone through? And they may seem minor to you. So because you've been on the evolution for years, and so little changes may not seem, I don't know, maybe it's a two-part question. So the first part would be like, are you seeing big changes, or has it kind of tapered and it's like more calibration changes? Like, so either or, like bigger, are you still having like big breakthroughs, or, and then whatever the answer to that question, like what are some of the recent things from maybe some of the recent teachings, how it's changed like your character or your fashion or how you handle conflict or, sales or anything like that, just tangible things that you've noticed?
Mm-hmm. I definitely, as you mentioned, I've been on this process for several years now, and it's very difficult to see these huge transformations when you're in it, right? The outside can see it. one of the recent polarities that I've been able to see my progress was, I'm immersed here in IMC. I live with Arash, I live with Yogi Chris, and we this is our life. But when you step out into the world, you start to see how far you've advanced from the modern day society, from my family members to my cousins, to everybody I know and grew up with. I see the progression. I was like, whoa, man, I'm on a spaceship. Everybody's still on a horse donkey riding right now. And so when I say it's major breakthroughs, I would say it is major breakthroughs, because each day we're working on this process. Each day I'm working on improving all the parts of my life that need improvement. So the two-part question now would be, I definitely see major changes in where I place my focus in life. Instead of being pushed and pulled in life by outside influences, I have now a grip on exactly what it is I want and what I want to grow and create, even within the tribe. As you mentioned, this is an ecosystem. Everybody is now establishing positions within IMC Nation, right? We got the Kuseis, we got the tribal leaders, we got the Captain Chris, we got the different positions, different branches, and each man brings different skill sets. And so for me, I definitely see myself as a very big power player. I've never seen myself very little. And so what is it that I can contribute? So as of recent time,
just real quick, I'm going to end the streaming to YouTube. So that's all you guys get. So you got to join the stream if you want to see more. Follow the Fernando Caro on Instagram.